And good evening, everybody. Ben Jones here. We're going to talk about the system that'll be coming through overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So what you're looking at now is, if you're logging in at some other time, this is 9:05 on Tuesday night, November 29th, 2022. So what we're seeing is just some light rain starting to move in to Upson County, Monroe County. The bigger stuff still off to the west. So this is more of just kind of a chat, mainly because of this stuff that's going to be coming through. Thunderstorms in the morning are going to come through in an early part of the day when some are still asleep. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. You will see a lot of severe weather out west, Alabama, Mississippi. That does not mean that that's what we're going to be seeing here. The two totally different situations here. What's going on out west for Mississippi and Alabama is an environment that's much more conducive to tornadic activity. And so that's why we've been seeing a lot of tornado warnings, obviously some tornado watches going on. There's 3 of them right there. And that may continue for a little while longer. Any of these cells that are in here acting kind of squirrely are going to spin from time to time, and we've seen that happen. So a lot of warnings have been going out as they are in a high-end level 4 tonight. What's left over of it is right there from Jackson, Mississippi on up to west of Birmingham. So this, again, on the scale is toward the highest, 5 obviously being the highest. If you look over, a level 1 is low end, and as this slides toward the east as we go through tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning, that becomes our threat. So you can see right there a level 1, which is the lowest end. It's not a 0, it just means that we're going to keep an eye on how things are looking as we go through tomorrow morning for mainly some gusty straight line winds, some pockets of heavy rain, and maybe some frequent lightning. We'll have to see how well this line is holding together. Let me go on over to, I'm going to put you on the high-res model, and I'll kind of walk us through it here a little bit at a time. There's around 11 o'clock tonight. Notice maybe a passing shower. Most of it is still off toward the west and north. There's midnight tonight, 1 a.m., still not much of anything happening. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., the same thing. And there's 4 in the morning. Now, if the high-res model is right, which is a little bit slower than the graph's been showing it, starts moving into our northwestern counties around 6 a.m. Now, this, again, is mainly straight line winds. Whenever you see it kind of bow a little bit, not that this is going to be the exact spot where all this happens, sometimes I can kind of show you when it's happening in real time where the gustiest winds will be. I'm not looking for a big severe weather outbreak with this as we go through the morning hours. There is around 7, 8 o'clock, but we will keep an eye out just in case. Of course, the morning show will be going on. Alex will have you covered here. There's around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and by the time we get into 9 or 10, our southeastern counties in red, that's the last of the sharp defined knife's edge, the big, the part that would be severe if it were going to be, and may not be, but at least where the biggest straight line winds would be. You can already see clearing in Macon here as we get into 9, 10 o'clock, and then by lunchtime, the rain is pretty much gone from our whole area. Let's take a look at it in the graph model. It'll show a similar scenario. There's around 11 o'clock midnight. Notice it tries to gather that line a little earlier, around 3 a.m., starting to knock on some of our northwestern counties, and you can see some little bows in there. Again, it doesn't show it holding together as much. See if I go backwards here. Notice how bright that red is back in Alabama. As we go forward, it starts to kind of break apart some, but it doesn't totally lose itself. Here's around 6, 7 in the morning. You can see a little bit of a bow in there. Let me go back to, right in here. So if you start seeing things like this, I can tell you straight line winds. I anticipate this is going to be a rainmaker. There's going to have some gusty winds along the line, but I'm not looking for a big severe weather outbreak with this, and may not have any warnings as it comes through. Having said that, of course, we're in a low end level 1, so something we'll watch. There's a look at 8 in the morning or so, and by mid-morning gone. Clouds are already clearing by lunchtime from west to east, and then a quick clearing tomorrow night. Let me show you the tornado threat, or lack thereof, for us. If you look on the left side of your screen, you will see, let's see, let me get you, the scale, first of all, shows you the higher percentage chance, the more likely going this way of tornadic weather. You obviously don't want to be on the scale at all, but you don't want to start being in these colors, and that's what they've been seeing out west here. But watch how this, as it goes toward the east overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, how it tapers off. There's tonight, still going in Mississippi, even at midnight. You can see that in Alabama. So the rough weather still for them. But then as we get into 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, that tornado threat starts diving south and diminishing. So not looking for, you can't rule it out, but not looking for that to be a big thing for us. Here is a look at the overnight as far as wind gusts. We'll have a southerly breeze out ahead of these storms, and you can see it could be getting up there at 25 to maybe 30 mile per hour wind gusts. And as the storms are coming through, the wind with the storms, but outside of that, it's going to be this yellow and orange coming in, which will be the cold front sweeping through tomorrow afternoon. Let's see here. As far as rainfall totals, this would take us through the whole event, 1.5 inches to maybe 2 inches at best, most of it off toward the west here. And temperature-wise, we will be hovering somewhere in the 60-plus range tonight into tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow may hit 70-plus briefly before the front starts to come through, and then it'll be a quick drop tomorrow night as we head back into the 30s for Thursday morning. This will take us into Thursday afternoon, where we're somewhere in the 50s, so all of a sudden December comes in, we're right back to the cold stuff again, but it's probably going to be brief as we start to warm up again this weekend. There's 30s again for Friday morning. Here's a look at the dew point map, and notice how the humidity level's really up back toward the west there, and they'll be up all night tonight and through the morning hours of tomorrow, and then you can see the front just knock the green right out of the way. Just dry air coming in behind this next front. Looking long range, we will have a nice Friday. It looks good, and we will keep that going for Saturday. Sunday, kind of iffy on rain potential. I have us in a little 20% chance, maybe still Sunday afternoon, night. Still got to nail that down a little better. And then Monday and Tuesday of next week, I just have it penciled in for a little rain chance because it's still too far out, and the models are not really coming together all that well. All right. I'll go over some of this again, then we'll probably just go ahead and drop out. We have the 10 o'clock show coming up in a little bit. And then the 11 o'clock show, we will definitely obviously have more information then. There's a look at the rain, again, back off toward the west and southwest. And you can see the storms. Again, this is as of 9:13 now on Tuesday night, 11/29/22. And you can see the bigger storms all back in Mississippi and Alabama, and that's where the tornado threat is. Once again, that is where the big, which is a big threat tonight for Mississippi into Alabama, a level 4, and then it drops to a 2 to a 1 for us. And as we head into tomorrow morning, we'll be seeing not the same kind of threat that they are seeing out west. We're going to be looking at a low-end level 1. I always say low-end level 1 just in case people are like, well, is 1 the highest and 5's the lowest? You know, sometimes can't like counting down all the way to the #1 spot like on the pop charts. No, this is 1 as in the lowest. The high-res model, again, shows maybe some rain overnight. There's 11 o'clock midnight going into 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Again, this model takes a little bit longer to get here. It'd be more like 6, 7, 8 a.m. with this line coming through. If this model's right, there's 7 to 8, 8 to 9. So if the high-res model is on, from 6 to 9 pretty much would be the window to get this through from our northwestern counties all the way to the southeast. Not saying that you would be standing in a steady, gusty wind rain for 3 hours. We just have a big area for this to have to get through. Now, again, the graph model shows rain a little bit up until about 3 in the morning. This starts 3 hours earlier on this one and goes basically from 3 to 7 to 8 maybe. And then still some residual rain, but as far as the main, but going backwards here now, the main shot of any gusty, strong winds would be right in that time period. So again, not looking for some sort of massive severe weather outbreak with this, but just something to keep an eye on as we head through tomorrow morning. Again, for the tornado potential, definitely greater out west for Mississippi into Alabama. And as we head forward into tomorrow morning, the tornado threat drops off to pretty much nothing. Rainfall totals, again, could get an inch, inch and a half, maybe some pockets of a little higher than that. Seeing where all that lines up. So there we have it. All right, guys, we'll be on the 10 o'clock show on our CW channel and the 11 on the main 13 WMAZ channel. We hope to see you there, and thank you for your time. Make it a little bit loud in the morning with just a little bit of wind and rain, and we'll get it on through here, and that'll be that.